my romance reader girls from all over the world join today to celebrate the coming out of a book adaptation, which is actually decent. Yay! In the times where book adaptations have disappointed us time and time again. But I have to say, Prime Video always, always, always delivers. If you live under a rock and you haven't been keeping up to date with TikTok's new obsession, I just finished the off campus adaptation on Amazon Prime Video and I have a lot of thoughts. A lot of thoughts. And before I say anything, I want to start this video by saying that I read this book such a long time ago, like so long ago that I still have this ugly covers that Jesus Christ, who thought ever that this was a good idea. So that's how you know, like, the nostalgia really like runs deep in me, especially about these books. When I heard that Amazon Prime was coming out with a show, I was a little bit scared. I'm not saying that it's a hard one to replicate, it's just like there's a lot of things that can go wrong, so I was a little bit scared. Dare I say I finished the entire series in a day, in an afternoon, I think. Actually, I also want to start this by saying that I am not someone who goes into a book adaptation expecting it to be exactly like the book. I just don't think that's realistic. Adaptations are always gonna change something, and honestly I think sometimes it works because things that works in books don't necessarily translate as well on TV, and that's something that I understand and I can get behind it. For me, the issue is never oh, they changed something. It's more like, did the adaptation still capture the heart of the story, the chemistry, the feeling that made people initially fall in love with the book? Because I think something that tends to happen in these adaptations is like they tend to forget that the whole reason that there is an adaptation is because the book did so good. So if the formula is good, I don't think there should be many huge changes in the story. A really good example of this is The Summer I Turned Pretty. In my opinion, that is one of Amazon Prime's best adaptations. Was it exactly like the books? No, but it stayed the same vibe, the same emotions. The characters stayed true to themselves while still making it good for TV. But let's dive into what brings us here today, which is talking about the off campus. Now, when I first read the series, I have to say my favorite of them all is The Deal, which is why I was both a little bit scared but excited about this adaptation, because obviously the first season of the show was going to be about Garrett and Hannah, the main characters of The Deal. And it's one of those super fast addictive reads. The font is huge, like the chapters just fly by, and before you know it you're basically gone through the entire book. I remember it being one of the first books I read when I was getting more into romance reads, so Garrett and Hannah have a very special place in my heart. That being said, I do need to make very clear that I actually enjoy the show. I think it was really fun, really entertained me. It still had me giggling and kicking my feet and make me all like fully invested the entire time. Some of the changes that they made, I see why they were good and why they work on TV. But with that being said, I do think there were certain aspects of Hannah and Garrett relationship that didn't fully translate on screen, in my opinion. Not in a they ruined their relationship, but in a way that if you love the books, you could tell that something was missing. I'm gonna dive into all of this, and the way that I'm going to divide this is in the things that I liked and things that I necessarily didn't like about it, and I will break this down in that way so it's easier for us to talk about it. I like how the show captured the vibe of Briar University. One of the main things about this book is how you feel as if you're part of the world. Like you are so immersed into this college life, sceneries, like all the friend groups, and I think the show did a really good job at capturing all of that. I genuinely felt like the world from the books. Like I felt like I was there, I understood. It's almost like they took it from my head and they put it right there in a book. Like in a show. Like that was perfect for me. One thing that the off-campus boys are very recognized for is this ridiculous popularity, especially around girls, and their charisma and how everybody knows them pretty well on campus. Like everybody's obsessed with them, and I think the show also established that pretty quickly and pretty good. Something that I really didn't mind that they changed about the book is in the books, like I have this whole playboy athlete mindset to them, which yes, it's hard on the books, but I don't think it would be as hard to see the guys playing and being such players. Like the book was made in 2015, so I feel like we've all evolved and changed since 2015. So it would have been very not, I would say in the books there were moments where the boys' behaviors could be a little bit misogynistic, just emotionally careless. And that was something that I was really curious about, how they were going to adapt it in the books, and I think they handled it pretty well. Like they did a really good job at weaving, going through the waves with that without making them seem like absolute assholes. Kept, because I think it was good. They kept the charms, the confidence, the popularity, all things that made the Briar Boys fun, but toned down without some of those outdated aspects of it. The thing that I didn't necessarily mind they changed in the show from the books, it's the way that Hannah and Garrett met. I think that they still kept the original way that they met, but they added a little bit more tension in the beginning, and I really think it sets up the show right away. Like it right away tells you what type of show you're about to get in, opened you up to their chemistry immediately, and that was amazing. Like, yes, because that's the first thing that I want to see in the show. Him butt naked, yes, absolutely. It felt like a rom-com meet cute, and we haven't seen that in a while in shows, so it was pretty like good, refreshing to see. And speaking about dynamics, I think another thing that they absolutely nailed it was the guys' friendship. That was one of my favorite parts of the books because their friendship felt so like immersive and cozy in a way. Really gives to the college found family, and the show translated that beautifully. Like they genuinely felt like brothers. I think that the show didn't rely on unnecessary drama between them. Nobody's secretly betraying each other, fighting over the same girl, or constantly being toxic towards one another. And it leads me to another thing that I absolutely love, which was the way that the show handled masculinity and emotional communication. These boys actually talk to each other. Like they communicate, they're vulnerable with each other. It's like you don't see that, especially in college boys that go to a frat. Anyways, it is like, what is this real? No, this is surrealistic, but hey, that's the beauty of it. I really appreciated that the show didn't lean as much as the books did into the broken, emotionally unavailable boys that the girls need to fix. Like I appreciated that they talk with each other, like that scene of Dean talking to Garrett in the gym, and he was just going for that fun vibe that he always has, and when he understood that Garrett was actually being serious and he actually needed an advice, he immediately locked in. I think that was so cute and beautiful. Same thing when he realized that he was starting to have feelings for Allie. He talked to Bo about it, and he immediately was like, yeah, I'm gonna go tell her. Like, you don't see that. That is a lie. That is fiction, but it's so beautiful to see. And the girls' friendship was just as beautiful. I think Allie and Hannah from the books and in the show was honestly such a breath of fresh air. They genuinely care about each other, support each other unconditionally. Allie was such a good friend to Hannah in this entire show. Like it had me tearing. That scene when she confesses to her her truth, and she just tells her like, I've known all along, babe, I was just waiting for you to be ready. Tears, in tears, because that is beautiful. Like I want to talk about Hannah and Garrett's relationship, and I'm still in between things that I didn't like and things that I did like about this adaptation, so I'm just gonna put it in a separate as Hannah and Garrett. I think that there were definitely some key differences in the dynamics that, as someone who read the books, I definitely noticed. And surprisingly, one of the changes that I really didn't mind was the way that they broke up. Garrett's father being involved in the breakup was a huge part of the book, and I know that a lot of readers saw that as something really important, but honestly, the way that the show handled it actually worked better for me. Like, in a way, it didn't make sense to me where his dad and him were basically already on non-speaking terms for him to have the audacity to go up to Hannah and say something like that, especially because when you see this type of dynamics, I think that the others always tend to have a face in front of other people. They never really show who they are outside of the cycle that they have used. So I think it did make more sense for him to like go in and attack Hannah. That would be like blowing his cover almost. So I feel like the show did a really good job at like making that still be who he is, a horrible person. The reason is that the show went so much deeper into Hannah's trauma. By that saying, like, I'm not saying that the book didn't talk about Hannah's trauma. It's more like the book is told through Hannah's perspective, Hannah's point of view, and Hannah is an unreliable narrator at the end of the day. She is telling us her story, and you can also see it in the show how she kind of doesn't want to talk about it. She brushes past it. Every time she talks about it, she's like, oh, it's okay, it's fine, I already forgot about it. Oh, it's okay, it's okay. So I think it was a good way to translate that on the books from the show, where in the show you can actually see how she was doing, how she was feeling, the way that it was making her feel, but still hearing from her like, oh, it's fine, it's fine, it's okay. But you can actually see how it actually caused her so much trauma. And watching the show really expands how difficult it was actually for her to talk about it, why she would brush it off, because she was deeply affected emotionally about it, and how much shame, and it's still how much shame and pain she still carries from it. And I actually thought that was one of the strongest parts of the adaptation. The thing that I didn't love as much was, and it's gonna hurt me, but it's Garrett's characterization. As in the books, Garrett was fun. He was playful, he was cocky, he was flirty. Personality wise, he was way closer to Dean than he was to Logan. But in the show, Garrett felt much quieter, more reserved, more serious, almost like nonchalant guy. I can understand why they made that choice. I think the show really wanted to emphasize how much pressure and emotional weight Garrett was carrying. Book Garrett had this incredible and ridiculous amount of charm and playfulness to him. The best example that I can give you to this is chapter 44. And yes, I am about to pull you into a chapter of the book. The entire hands-off law situation was probably the clearest example of Garrett's personality. And before anyone says anything, yes, I understand why they would change it. Like, this whole hands-off law, nobody can touch my girlfriend, would not translate as good in 2026. Definitely come up as possessive and a little bit problematic. I get that. I'm not even mad about the fact that they adapted the situation a little bit. Like, at the end of the day, there were still a hands-off law. It was just not put by him. What I'm sad about is that by changing that, we changed completely one of the biggest examples of Garrett's personality.
It's nice to see you too, baby. How was your break? Don't you baby me. And don't ask about my break because you don't deserve to know about it. You invoked a campus-wide hands-off law? Are you kidding me? Of course I did.
Because in the book, Garrett is not acting dark and toxic in that scene. He's being ridiculous. He's being funny. He's teasing Hannah. He's flirting with her. He's smiling at her while she's mad at him. So he didn't do it in like a possessive, toxic boyfriend way. He did it in a very funny way. That's the Garrett that I am missing in the show. Garrett that it was so down bad for Hannah that it was embarrassing for him. I think that was what I was missing the most. Yes, of course, you can still see that he loves Hannah in the show, and I love how he was yearning for her in the show. Their relationship wasn't just romantic in the books, it was fun. And I think the show lost a little bit of that by making Garrett much more serious and emotionally reserved. Because when I think about Garrett Graham, I am not thinking about a nonchalant, quiet, broody hockey player. I think about a guy who's chaotic, who's funny, who's unknowingly confident, and he's completely wiped for Hannah Wells. I think after episode 5, like, his mood kind of like dropped, and he was like not making jokes anymore. Everything was very serious for him. I don't know. One change that surprised me, but not necessarily in a bad way, was changing the kiss that Hannah was supposed to give Dean, and instead she gave it to Logan. Before watching the show, I was fully saying everywhere, she better kiss Dean, that scene better be in that show or I'm gonna throw a fit. Because the scene in the book was iconic. Like, it was just so good. Like, every book talk girl who's watching this knows what I'm talking about. It was just... So originally I was convinced that changing it was gonna be like, ugh, no. But honestly, after watching the show, I think it made more sense for her to kiss Logan instead of Dean. Because in the books, I'm not gonna lie, Logan's crush on Hannah felt a little bit like random to me. In the show, giving them that moment and like creating those specific situations where, okay, it makes sense for him to have developed a crush on her. Sense for me. I don't know. It just makes sense. I'm not gonna lie. Like, him kind of wanting Hannah, it's hot. Like, I think it is. I think that them being down bad for Hannah is hot. What can I say? That scene when she was singing karaoke and she had Justin, Logan, and Garrett, and she was only looking at Garrett when she was singing. Cinematography right there. Art. Theater right there. I love this so much. Now, another thing that I could not be talking about without talking about it is the Dean and Allie's relationship. They absolutely killed it. And it makes me a little bit upset that they had so many good moments in a season that isn't theirs. Literally every single second they had together, perfection. The chemistry was through the roof. You could feel it spark. You could feel the sparks coming out of your screen. In my opinion, introducing those future storylines so quickly into the show was a good decision. Because guys, at the end of the day, this show needs enough viewers to get renewed. Us readers, at the end of the day, we know what is coming, but those people who are just watching the show and not reading the books don't. So teasing future couples and getting people emotionally attached so early is such a good, smart move. I'm not gonna lie, even when I read that back then, it made more sense to me for Dean and Allie's book to be the second one instead of the third. Like, Hannah and Allie are best friends. Like, it would have just made more sense. Really didn't understand why Logan's book was the second one when I was reading it. After watching the show, yeah, I stand by what I said even more. Like, it makes more sense to Allie and Dean to be season 2. They stole so many scenes in the seasons that I'm like, oh my god. Like, first of all, Dean's casting, insane. Like, that is Dean De Laurentiis. Like, humor, the charisma, the confidence, the flirting. Like, he embodies that character so well. And Allie, oh my god, I love her. I think also she has so much confidence to her. You can feel it through the skin. So good. Yes, Hannah and Garrett were my favorites in the books. But this show, it's making me question myself. I genuinely love them. They are perfect together. Now, I do have to say, I am curious, what are they going to do with their storyline? Not going to lie, those montages that they covered, kind of their relationship, had a pretty significant amount of their story already. So I wonder what are they going to do in their season. I think it was actually a pretty interesting move to add Hunter Davenport to be the guy that she finished the assignment with. I'm curious where that's gonna happen. Here waiting like, okay, so what exactly are we saving for later if we're giving so much of their story right now? Like, we gotta make a whole season of that. Like, it makes me really excited. I think they did a really good job, so I trust them that they would deliver with a good experience. A very important mention to that scene of her dressed as J-Lo dancing with him. No words. Anyways, at the end of the day, I don't think the show perfectly related every single detail from the book, but I do think it understood pretty well what made people fall in love with the off-campus in the first place. And for me, that is what makes a good adaptation. So I don't know about you guys. I would love to know your opinions in the comments. I absolutely love it. I give it a 4.5 out of 5, I think. Like, just because there were like a few things that I wish it would have been. But overall, I loved it. I am so excited for the next upcoming seasons. I cannot wait to see what they're going to do with this show. And we'll be here. We'll be commenting it because absolutely I am an obsessed. If there's one thing that I would comment and never shut up about, is romance. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you liked it. Please let me know what you think in the comments. I actually am very curious. So I'll see you very soon in another video of another vlog of something.